Hey guys, this is Enku with Freedom Code. Again, leader of a $35 million insurance team, scaled over 18 agents to a multiple six-figure income in insurance sales. I just wanted to share with you guys some insight on exactly the typical steps in terms of why someone is not able to last in their first year in insurance, and how those that are successful in clearing multiple six figures are and what they're doing differently. First and foremost, I wanted to touch a little bit more on the reality behind the statistics. So a lot of times people come in and I hear this probably all the time. Oh, why are you not successful? Why are you not where you need to be in the insurance business? And they say bad leads. The leads suck. They do not offer anything for leads and they suck. While some of that may have some validity, chances are there are other people in your agency making money, right? I'm sure at one point they started the same way that you did, calling through leads, right? So there clearly must be a way that you are able to attack this. When you look behind the idea of insurance sales and commission and why people are not successful in this industry, a lot of it boils down to they're coming in with the idea that, hey, I'm going to just come in, pass the tests, close a few people, and I'll make it. But they're not taking into account, first and foremost, passing the exam, right? Depending on the state that you're in, it's easier than in other states, and the metrics are a little bit different, but just overall passing your state exam. Once you pass your state exam, you got to go through whatever your company's training rituals are, if there are any. And this is all a process that usually, depending on your agency, you're not getting paid for. So this is all what they like to call self-motivated learning. So you're coming in, you're after learning the material to pass the exam. You got to learn the material to get trained. And then you got to learn the script so that once you're hopping on the phones, you can pass off deals to other agents. So this is all stuff that's done on your own. Now, if you don't have the confidence, if you're not coachable, if you feel like you have the ability to do this on your own and you're not really taking advice, it's going to be a lot harder for you to soak up this information than if you're, coming in as the person that, even if you do know something, pretending like you don't and soaking all of the information that you can possible so that once you do hit the phones, you're closing a lot more people, you're setting a lot more appointments, and you're making a lot more money, even in your first couple weeks. Now, the psychological pressure of commission-only pay. This is a huge, huge, huge point because of the fact that some households, spouses, when they hear the word commission, they shrivel up, right? I have African parents, so I can tell you, when I went home and I said I got a job, they asked how much it was paying, and I told them it was 100% commission. It was almost as if I was unemployed, right? So I understand the psychological pressure of commission-only pay. Now, what does commission really mean? A lot of jobs, you get paid hourly, salary, insurance, most of them, you're getting paid 100% commission, which means if you do not make any sales, you will not make any money. Obviously, that's awful, but nobody ever looks at the opposite side of commission sales, which means even if you're selling cars, right? And usually when you sell cars, you got a base and then you also have a commission structure, right? But you're typically, even a good salesman is, let's say, averaging anywhere from 16 to 22 cars a month on average. You're still getting a flat check for not only your base, but only the commission of what you sell. Now let's inverse that. Let's say you're going in and you're selling 5, 6, 7, 8 policies a week. Well, now you're earning the pure commissions off of every single policy that you're closing. So a lot of people look at commissions only pay and they say, oh, well, I can't do this. Of course, you need money saved and you need a financial, safety net. But a lot of them look at this and like, oh, I can't do this. Or what if I make zero? Or what if, and then they start to go into this self-doubt bubble where they really are lacking the belief in themselves. This is where proof of concept plays a huge, huge role. With commission only, again, that also means that I've had weeks, especially early in my career, where I've made zero, and I've had weeks where I've made over $20,000, right? Still 100% commission. So what's changed? What's changed is the confidence and the ability into selling that product over and over and over and over and over and over again, and getting more and more people in front of you to sell said product. with the psychological pressure, at the end of the day, it's not, if you're in a financial bind where you're the sole breadwinner, you're living check to check, and you don't know if insurance is going to be for you, don't do it at the moment, right? So go save money. I usually used to tell my agents, usually 3 to 6 months worth of emergency savings. And that's just to cover basic expenses, so that even if you do make $0, that you're not eating that week, right? Because that's really the bottom of what people would consider making $0 in that week. So now we got the true understanding of why those 92% of agents are leaving consistently. That process, the idea of what the 8% are doing. You have the idea of how commission only pay influences not only your start as an insurance agent, but also your support system, spouses, kids, family members, mom, dad, grandparents, whoever that might be for you. Next thing I'm going to talk about is how poor lead quality sets off a chain reaction of problems. So let's give in. Let's say it is a lead quality issue, right? So when you're coming in, here's the typical failure agent way of going about it. You come in, the agency is not doing too hot. They are recruiting in mass numbers. You come on board and they tell you to call through these recycled leads. Most of them, let's say, are disconnected. They're not interested. They don't answer. And so on average, you're coming in and maybe setting 3 to 5 appointments a week. Let's say out of the 5 appointments that you set, let's say you get 3 of them to show up. Of that 3, you're lucky to close 1. That 1 insurance deal that you close is not going to put you on pace for 100,000. Hell, I don't even know if you'll break even. So this process continues for week in and week out, maybe even a few months, until you look at it and you say, hey, I would make more money doing something other than what I'm currently doing. That is how a lot of the agents end up in that 92%, poor lead quality. Now, how you could solve this is free marketing, right? If you guys have seen any Hormozi video or any Jeremy Lee Minor video of doing outreach and reaching out to these individuals, is there's a lot of free marketing that you can do to get more leads, right? Do not let poor lead quality be the reason that you're failing in your business when you have things like LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and when you have networking groups that you can join that can fit the specific niche of people that you're looking for to sell the insurance. It's not a matter of where these people are, it's how to get in front of them. Next thing that I want to talk about is the difference in daily activity between the top agents and the rest. So one thing to note is that when I was struggling as an insurance agent, this is way back in the dark days of 2020, one thing that I was always known for, even before making high-level commissions, is I was known for working from sunrise to sunset, right? And the one thing that never stuck in my head was, how am I working all of these hours and all of these other agents are out earning me, right? That leads to having a system versus not having a system. If the reason I'm working from sunrise to sunset is I don't have the amount of leads to get in front of, then that in itself is a separate issue. Because now what I'm seeing is that not only are these agents, earning more money than I am on a week-to-week basis, this is back then, they're also doing it in half the time. The one thing that top insurance agents I've learned are going to do is they're going to adapt to whatever system working for them. And so when I first started, we did not have any automatic texting with regards to CRMs or text messaging or emails or phone calls. The ability just simply was not out yet, or it was not made aware to us as an insurance agency. The one thing that you can do is that you can find your own system within the system. So if the issue is that I'm having to call 300 people, 400 people a day just to set 2 appointments, how can I reach out to more people? How can I get more leads in front of me? And eventually, once CRMs came out and once the understanding of doing mass reach out, so texting or emailing came out, now we're able to reach out to a lot more people in a fraction of the time. And so a lot of the top agents back then, prior, would just rip a bunch of calls. You're just doing an absurd amount of calls. You're doing an absurd amount of follow-up text messages, and you're doing an absurd amount of texting, follow-up, calling. It's just done in volume. That's what the top agents would do until CRM blasting came out. And then what they ended up doing was you're just outreaching to a lot more people in a fraction of the time. Now, what that does is that I'm not actively working on prospecting for a majority of the day. I'm still working most of the day. I don't want people to say like, oh, the top producers are not working. No. We're still working, but now it's just more efficient. Now I'm coming in and I'm working 3 hours from pure prospecting, and that prospecting is just responding to potential leads. If that's not if that's not something that you adapt to your business, then you're going to be stuck basically in a 4-cylinder Ford Focus. Nothing wrong with the car. It'll get you from point A to P. I actually had the car at one point, but that's not going to get you from point A to point B faster than, an M3, right? Or a Lamborghini. How the 8% set realistic goals and build repeatable processes. Okay. So now, boom, you understand that it's $2,000 a week to get to $100,000 a year. Right? You've inputted that formula. You know how many appointments that takes you. You know how many outreach messages that takes you. You have identified that formula. The next thing that you do from there is you say, okay, how do I do this and scale even more? So whether that's investing in your own leads, whether that's ads, whether that's hiring a VA to rip cold calls for you, whatever that system looks like, you implement that, and then you do the compound effect of mass reach out. So if I told you right now, hey, you give me $1,000, I can guarantee you 1,000,000% that will return to $2,000 that following week. Most of you guys would take that, if not all of you, right? In the aspect of insurance leads, a lot of times agents, from what I've saw, were not able to, even if they were consistent enough to where they knew how to make $1,000 a week, I would say that they were never, ever really determined to double their income by putting more money in. And a lot of times the 8%, all they did was just use the compound effect. Like I mentioned to you guys, that 1 would turn to 2, 2 turns to 4, and then 4 turns to $8,000 a week. And then before you know it, you're at a multiple 6-figure income simply selling insurance by just investing a lot more in your own individual leads, something that maybe you didn't have access to when you first started the insurance business. Understanding the system in terms of how you're getting to $100,000 a year, capitalizing that, and then building a repeatable process to scale your commission is one of the most important things to not only make sure that you're scaling your income, but income is going to be one of the main focal points of why insurance agents leave, right? If you're earning $52,000 in commission, which is the average on a yearly basis, then you're not under, and like that's not enough money most of the time to keep you past year 1. And the last thing is consistent mentorship accelerates growth. So ego is something in sales that a lot of agents get a hold of, and you might be the top of your team, you might be the top of your office, you might be the top of your region, but there are over 1 million insurance agents, and I promise you, there's only one number one. And so consistent mentorship, whether that's in the aspect of a business coach, a sales coach, a therapist, something to help not only regulate your day-to-day routine, but then also helps you accelerate the growth past the 3, 6, or 12-month process, is going to be one of those things that keeps you level-headed, keeps you focused, and keeps you multiplying your systems year in and year out. Success is a result of these structured habits and not just one-off wins or one high of a weekly check. If you guys like content like this, again, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will keep them coming. And until next time, guys, I'll see you guys very soon.